Have you ever noticed how life begins to feel different the moment you stop asking it to make sense and instead allow yourself to stay with it? Not to solve it, not to fix it, just to remain present while it moves. This is where willingness quietly turns into trust. At first, choosing to live willingly feels like standing in the middle of uncertainty without armor. You are aware of your fears, you are aware of your doubts, and yet you decide not to retreat. But over time, something shifts. You begin to realize that uncertainty itself is not the enemy. The real exhaustion came from constantly bracing against it. Most people don't fear life. They fear their inability to handle what life might bring. So they overthink, they overplan, they emotionally withdraw in advance. And without realizing it, they reduce their lives to something manageable rather than something meaningful. When trust enters, that pattern loosens. Trust doesn't promise comfort. It offers steadiness. It whispers, you can meet this moment, even if it's unfamiliar. And slowly, you stop treating every challenge as a threat to your identity. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this asking of me? That question changes everything. Because now, life isn't happening against you. It's happening with you. You begin to sense that experiences don't come to define you. They come to shape you. And shaping doesn't always feel gentle. Sometimes it feels confusing. Sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it feels like standing still while the world keeps moving. But when you trust life, you no longer rush to escape these phases. You let them breathe. You let yourself be in between answers. And in that space, something subtle forms, inner stability. Not the kind that comes from certainty, but the kind that comes from self-trust. You start knowing deeply that no matter what unfolds, you won't abandon yourself. This is a powerful shift. Because many people don't fear pain, they fear being alone with it. Willingness teaches you how to stay, to sit with emotions without drowning in them, to experience joy without gripping it, to experience loss without collapsing into it. You begin to see that emotions are movements, not prisons. They pass through when you allow them. And meaning reveals itself here, not as a dramatic realization, but as a quiet understanding. You understand that life doesn't need to be extraordinary to be valuable. A conversation that feels honest, a moment of clarity after confusion, a breath taken without tension. These moments don't look impressive from the outside, but inside, they change you. Trusting life also changes how you relate to time. You stop rushing yourself to arrive somewhere. You stop measuring your worth by how fast things are happening. You realize that growth doesn't move in straight lines. Some seasons are about expansion, some are about integration, some are about rest, and none of them are wasted. When you live willingly, you stop labeling pauses as failures. You allow yourself to slow down without guilt. You recognize that stillness is not stagnation, it's preparation. And with that recognition, comparison begins to lose its power. You no longer measure your life against someone else's timeline. You understand that your path doesn't need to resemble anyone else's to be valid. Trust makes you patient with your own becoming. It also changes how you love. You love without trying to control outcomes. You listen without preparing defenses. You express yourself without rehearsing rejection. This doesn't mean you won't get hurt. It means you won't close your heart preemptively. And that is a different kind of courage. Living willingly also brings discernment. You start noticing where you've been saying yes out of fear rather than alignment. You feel the quiet resistance in your body when something no longer fits. And instead of ignoring it, you listen. This is how trust refines your choices. You stop chasing things just because they look meaningful on the surface. You choose what feels alive, even if it's quieter, slower, or less understood. And life responds to that honesty, not by removing challenges, but by giving you the strength to meet them without losing yourself. You realize that meaning was never something to be found at the end of the road. It was built moment by moment through your willingness to stay present, through your decision to feel instead of numb, to engage instead of withdraw, to live instead of wait. And perhaps the most surprising part is this. The more you trust life, the less you need it to prove anything to you. You stop demanding reassurance from every moment. You allow life to be incomplete, imperfect, and still worthy. You realize that meaning doesn't come from understanding everything. It comes from participating fully, from saying, I'm here, even when clarity hasn't arrived yet. And in that presence, life meets you, not with answers, but with depth. This is the quiet truth. Life doesn't ask you to be fearless. It asks you to be willing. Willing to experience joy without guarantees. Willing to face pain without closing your heart. Willing to trust that whatever unfolds will shape you, not erase you. And when you live this way, meaning stops being something you search for. It becomes something you carry. And in the embrace of this trust, you find wonder in the simplest details. The rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze, the flicker of fireflies in the evening light. These are reminders that life is constantly unfolding, inviting us to dance with its rhythm rather than rush against it. Trust allows community to flourish, bonds to deepen. We realize life isn't meant to be traveled alone. In the shared laughter and understanding silence of friends, we find strength to face the path ahead. Alone, we are strong. Together, we are invincible. Finally, trust calls us to recognize that life is transient, ever flowing like this river. And with that recognition, we learn to cherish every moment, every connection, knowing they are as fleeting as they are beautiful. Life's river takes us to uncharted places, but when held with trust, those places become new beginnings. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video, and do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you feel connected with this content. Good luck, and stay safe.